yet another mass shooting in the US. On May 24, an 18-year-old shot and killed 19 children and 2 teachers at an elementary school in Texas. The second deadliest school shooting in the US after the 2012 Sandy Hook shooting when 20 children and 6 adults were killed. So the question is, who's the culprit? With every school shooting, the debate about gun controls opens up, as well as the search for culprits. Americans have attributed mass shootings to mental illness or inadequate security, amongst other reasons, but fail to acknowledge that they have a deeply rooted gun culture. What is a gun culture? Gun culture encompasses the behaviors, attitudes, and beliefs about firearms and their usage by civilians. More guns than people. Gun ownership in the United States is the highest in the world. Americans make up less than 5% of the world's population, yet they own roughly 45% of all the world's privately held firearms, based on a 2018 data from the Small Arms Survey. The right to bear arms. The US is one of 3 countries in the world that protect the right to bear arms in their constitution. The other 2 are Mexico and Guatemala. Stand your ground laws. These laws explicitly allow people to use guns as a first resort for self-defense in the face of a threat. After being adopted by most states, Gallup found that 88% of gun owners in 2021 reported self-defense as a primary reason. More than 2,500 mass shootings since Sandy Hook. In December 2012, a gunman walked into Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut and killed 20 children, 6 adults, and himself. Since then, there have been more than 2,500 mass shootings as of July 2020, according to the Gun Violence Archive. A broad definition of mass shooting. The Gun Violence Archive includes shootings in which 4 or more people were murdered, but also shootings in which 4 or more people were shot at. Still, it's impressive considering that mass shootings make up less than 2% of America's firearm deaths. 1 mass shooting a day. On average, under this broader definition of mass shootings, America has around 1 mass shooting each day, according to Mass Shooting Tracker. More guns, more homicides. The United States has 6 times as many firearms homicides as Canada and nearly 16 times as many as Germany. Why? Research compiled by Harvard suggests that answer is pretty simple. The US has way more guns than other developed nations. Most gun deaths are suicides. Although America's political debate about guns centers around mass shootings and murders, most gun-related deaths in US are suicides. And the states with the most gun ownership are the ones with the most suicides, according to the CDC. Tighter gun control laws mean fewer deaths. Economist Richard Florida took a look at gun deaths and other social indicators in 2011 and found that stress and mental illness didn't correlate with the gun deaths, but he did find one telling correlation. States with Tighter gun control laws have fewer gun-related deaths. Americans don't want stricter gun laws. Even though 52% of Americans support stricter gun control according to the Gallup, only 19% support a ban on handguns. This may arise from the fact that 4 in 10 Americans live in a household with a gun, while 30% say they own one, according to the Pew Research Center. AR-15 style rifles are the easiest to purchase. The weapon used in Texas was an AR-15 variant. So was the one used in Buffalo supermarket shooting less than 2 weeks before. Both shooters were under 21. Texas laws allow 18-year-olds to purchase a long gun or rifle. The makers of AR-15 have been sued before. The families of 9 victims of Sandy Hook Elementary School shootings agreed to a $73 million settlement of lawsuit against the maker of the rifle used to kill 20 first graders and 6 teachers in 2012. The rifles were briefly banned. In 1994, President Bill Clinton banned the AR-15 and other similar semi-automatic rifles. After its ban, mass shootings were down in the decade that followed, in comparison to the decade before 1984 and 1994, and the one after 2004 and 2014. NPR reported in 2018. But once the ban expired in 2004, gun manufacturers quickly began production and sales rose. Other attempts to enact stricter gun laws. Congress tried to pass a compromise bill to expand background checks in 2013, months after the Sandy Hook shooting. The bill failed to pass, as most Republicans and a handful of Democrats opposed the legislation. The Charleston loophole. Democrats have already passed bills to expand background checks to all firearms sales or transfers and close the so-called Charleston loophole. That loophole, which would increase the amount of time that licensed gun sellers must wait to receive a completed background check before transferring a gun to an unlicensed buyer.